I would like to give the floor Mr. Colin Jemide. He's a fraud advisor. He's an expert in fraud protection. He worked with the London City Police. And I think, as I said earlier, for those who just joined us now, number one, thank you very much, Colin, for giving us your morning or afternoon of Saturday. This is a very valuable and treasured time. And this is really kind of you. This is great generosity from you to give us your time to come and help us, to help ourselves, really. You're doing this to help us, really. And secondly, I think your approach initially, as I said earlier, by going to the embassy, trying to find a way to solve this problem within the community, I think is great. Before I give you the opportunity, I would like also to comment. شكرا جزيلا يا سعادة المستشار. فعلا السفير حديث أنا بتذكر كان له بصمة كبيرة جدا، وأكثر حاجة عملها قبل ما ياخذ المعاش ربنا سبحانه وتعالى زي ما قال سعادة المستشار نتمنى له فترة أو معاش هنيء وسعيد، وإن شاء الله هو بقى واحد من أخواننا ما حنساه وما حينسانا. فتح السفارة فعلا وزاد من الانتراكشن بتاعه، كل الناس أشارت بالكلام ده، كل الناس السفارة تحولت توتالي. وهسه هذا واحد منها، هذا الخطوات اللي بيعمل فيها المستشار خالد دي خير مثال لأنه نحل مشاكلنا دي. برضه نسيت قبل، مش نسيت لكن كنت هعرفه بعدين، أخونا بروفيسور محمد حسن من جامعة ساوثهامبتون. وحقيقة نحن لما اتصلنا به ما عشان يجي يترجم لنا، كل الناس دي ممكن تترجم، لكن محمد ذاته اكتف في الكوميونتي غير شغله الاكاديمي. هو ما جاي منه كاكاديمي الليله، لكن هو دائما الناس في المؤتمرات اللي فاتت قدم الترجمه في بعض المحاضرات العلميه، الناس انبسطت جدا، قالوا خلاص لو بعدين داير له مهنه ثانيه. قلنا لهم ما بيحتاج، لانه ده البروفيسور بتاع كيميكال انجينيرنج ان شاء الله ما يحتاج، وظيفته ماشيه لقدام. فانا we're going to give Colin the chance. Colin got a video and then he got the presentation. He will speak in English. Professor Mohamed Hassan will translate for him in Arabic. After he finish, بعد ما هو يخلص، أي زول عنده سؤال بالعربي بالإنجليزي ما في مشكلة، أسألنا عشان بعد ما نخلص من كولين حنحول السويتش لكله للعربي. Colin, the floor is yours.
My name is Colin Jemide, and I think that video kind of sums up everything that I'm going to talk to you about today in terms of people selling fake insurance policy. Like has been mentioned by Professor Allam, essentially I'm here today because a member of the Sudanese community is going around selling fake insurance policies to members of his community. And it's not only happening in the Sudanese community, it's happening in various other communities across the England and Wales and the UK, basically. So, and there's a trust element. So that's why it seems to work with people being able to sell fake insurance policies. So today, I'm just going to introduce you to IFED, to what we do. I'll tell you what Ghost Broking is. Ghost Broking is selling fake insurance policies, basically. And the question you need to ask yourself when you're driving is, are you really insured? And it's nice when you save money initially, when you think you're saving money initially, but by the time I go through what I'm going to tell you, you find out that the cost is a lot more. So you end up spending more in the long run when you thought you'd save money. And more importantly, I need to tell you how to protect yourself. You know, if you feel somebody is a ghost broker trying to sell you a fake policy, what you do and the sort of steps to take and the things to look out for in that process. And another thing that's going to share with you as members of the Sudanese community is what we call staged accidents. I'll touch on that very briefly because not every accident that you get involved with is an accident. Sometimes people going about trying to stage accidents to claim money from insurance companies. So And that's something I'm going to briefly tell you about as well. Next slide, please.
Thank you very much, Colin. Can I just translate everything you said?
Okay.
Yes. فالأستاذ كولين حيتكلم عن IFED بطريقة عامة. حيتكلم لنا عن الانشورنس أو التحريف في الانشورنس الناس اللي بتعمله أو التزوير اللي بيحصل ويتباع للناس بطريقة خاطئة هنا، وحيورينا طرق إنه نحمي نفسنا وما هي الطرق الأسوأ أحسن طريقة لحماية النفس من هذه الأعمال الخبيثة، لأنه فيها ضرر بالشخص الواحد أو الكيان وضرر بالمجتمع عامة. وآخر حاجة حيتكلم معانا فيها عن الحوادث التمثيلية. Thank you very much, Colin.
So I'll quickly go through that slide. We were established in 2012. We've been going for 9 years now. And main aim, like the slide says, is to kind of tackle insurance fraud. We're privately funded by the Association of British Insurers who feel it's a problem and they put money into setting up that unit. And we tackle all types of insurance fraud, including the ones I'm going to talk to you about today. The key thing for me in that slide is working with our partners and members of the public and community to raise public awareness. And that's the reason why I'm here today, because not a lot of people know about fraudsters selling fake insurance policies. But I can tell you, based on the cases we see every day, it is quite rampant. So that key, that essence of raising public awareness is really important in what we do. And so I'll kind of take you through that today as well. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry, Mohamed, you can interest.
Don't worry about it, Colin. It's all right. Thank you very much. فأول حاجة كولين عمل هنا إنه عرف لنا ال IFED اللي هي مجموعة عن حماية المستهلك من الغش اللي بيحصل، وهم جهة خاصة وعندها فندنج خاص من البريتش انشورنس اسوسيشن بيعملوا، والوظيفة الهامة لهذا المجتمع لهذه الجهة هو إنه يمثلوا المجتمع وينوروا المجتمع من ناحية أكاديمية وناحية تعليمية هنا للمعرفة بماذا يحصل هنا. وهو حيتكلم معنا عن طرق كثيرة كيف نحمي نفسنا وكيف ندلع على هذه الأشياء. Colin, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mohamed. So I'll just give you brief figures there. If you can see, currently have 211 live investigations ongoing on our portfolio. And out of those 211 investigations, we have 420 suspects on that investigation. And I can tell you that a lot of those suspects on that investigation are under investigation for frauds that I'm going to explain to you today. We have a lot of cases about people selling fake insurance policies, about people staging accidents. So this will kind of give you an idea. And that big figure red in 300 there is for every case we get, we take it to court, we prosecute people. And the end result is if you've committed a crime, you need to pay for it. It's 300 years in imprisonment terms since we've been going for 9 years that we send people to prison based on that. So that's quite a good figure in terms of what we do. So the outcomes are quite good. Thank you, Mohamed.
Thank you. في هذه اللحظة في 211 بلاغ هم بيعملوا investigation أو تفتيش فيهم، وفي هذه اللحظة عندهم 420 مشتبه. وفي الفترة الأخيرة عن امتداد 9 سنين اللي هم شغالين فوقها قدروا يمشوا في المحكمة ويعملوا محاكمة لمخالفين للقانون بقيمة 300 سنة. والحاجات اللي هم بيعملوها مضرة بالمجتمع عامة، لأنه أنت بتخسر قروشك وفي نفس الوقت بتضر بالمجتمع عامة. Colin.
Thank you. That slide is quite pertinent to what I'm going to tell you today. If it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. So I think the basic thing with that message is that we're all looking for a way to save money, regardless of who we are. If somebody comes up with a deal, we're happy to look at it, but sometimes that deal is not really what it is. So you just need to be careful.
اوكي. دائما الناس لما تجيك بيجيكوا بعرض مغري، والعرض المغري دائما بيكون فيه حاجات خفيه، فنحن لازم نعمل توعيه ونفهم الحاجات تحت المغريات اللي خدتنا علينا هنا. ما خفي اعظم دائما، فنحن لازم ما نتقاد وراء الحاجات اللامعه مثلا او التوفير المادي لازم نتفحص في كل الحاجات اللي احنا بندرسها هنا. Colin, yours.
Thank you. So today I'm going to ask that question: are you really insured to drive? So what I'm going to introduce you is what I've kind of mentioned before. I think the video kind of tells you everything, but I'm just quickly going to go through it. The people selling fake insurance policies across the UK, we call them ghost brokers. And it's not something a lot of people would have heard about. So in short, a ghost broker is someone who would offer to sell fake insurance policies, and he tells you it's heavily discounted and it's cheap. And that's, if you go further, that's not true. So that's in essence what a ghost broker is. So how does it work? How do ghost brokers work? What do they do? How do they get people to buy policies from them? So one of the things they do mainly is they will take your details. They'll tell you, yes, I'll get your policy for £400 cheaper. When they go online to apply for it, they change your date of birth, they change your address, they change your occupation. Because in certain postcodes, you can get policies cheaper than in other postcodes. So in certain occupations, you can get cheaper insurance policies. And the date of birth, if you're slightly older, your policy is cheaper. So they understand the system and they work around that. So they falsify your details and they bring the price down. But remember, you've already paid up front for it. The other thing they do is they take out a genuine policy for you in your name. They've taken your money. A couple of weeks later, or a month, 2 months, 3 months, depending on how long they take, the policy is cancelled because the insurance company would have cottoned on to what exactly is going on. And sometimes they also buy policies legitimately, and they change the policies by forging or doctoring the document, and they sell it on to you. So you think you're insured. But by the time you ask a few questions and you go further and you find out you're not. But I'll explain that to you. So that's just the brief outline of how people selling fake insurance policies work.
Thank you very much, Colin. Just one second. هو قال إنه في الغش في التأمين بتاع السواقة عامة بيحصل، بيسموهم الجوست بروكرز. هو بيبيع لك التأمين بالغش. كيف بيعملوا هذا؟ اللي هو إنه بياخذ المعلومات الصحيحة منك، فيقوم يمشي ويغير المعلومات اللي يضل شركة التأمين أو يضلك أنت، فيطلع بوليس التأمين سليمة لكن ما مطابقة لمواصفاتك أو معلوماتك، بناء عليها هي غير صالحة. أو مرات بيقوم يغير في تواريخ الميلاد، يغير في العناوين عشان يجيب لك السعر أرخص، لكن هي غير صالحة لأنها ما مماثلة للمعلومات حقتك، مما بيؤدي للضرر فيك وضرر في المجتمع، لأنك أنت حتخسر المادة اللي بتدفعها وإن كانت قليلة، وفي نفس الوقت إذا حصل لا قدر الله صدمات أو حوادث حتتأثر معاها في الدفع بعدين زي ما حيشرح لنا المستقبلين. Colin, yours.
Thank you. So you remember the slide I put at the beginning, which says if it's too good to be true, then it probably is. This slide kind of supports that idea. So you've initially paid for the policy. They've asked you to give them £600 or £700 for the policy. You've paid up front. You've paid maybe in about 2 or 3 installments, and you think you're insured. But you might discover you're not insured when you're stopped by the police. And if you're stopped by the police, for example, one of the things that could happen is you could get a fixed penalty notice for £300 for driving uninsured. If you are an Uber driver, or you're a delivery driver, or you're in any sort of occupation where driving is important to you, for driving without insurance, you could get 6 points on your license, which is not ideal if you drive for a living. Your car could be seized. If your car is seized, it will cost you £150 to get that back. So when you put all those together, when you think you've saved money, initially, yes, you have. Initially, you saved money. But when you look at the implications and all the risks of what's going on and what could happen if you're not genuinely insured, then you find out that it costs you a lot more than you anticipated. That is what I call the true cost. I call it a double whammy. I call it a triple whammy. So just be careful when you're buying those policies to make sure you do it the right way. Otherwise, you could end up paying a lot more. And remember, you've already paid the ghost broker or the fraudster a lot of money in advance. Thank you.
رغم انه العرض مغري وانت في بدايه الموضوع لما تطلع التامين بتكون وفرت قروش كثير، لكن التوفير غير صحيح لانه انت حتكون معاقب من القانون لا قدر الله اذا حصل حاجه. فاول حاجه كل تكلفه الاصطدام او الحادث الحاصل حتقع على عاتقك اول حاجه. ثاني حاجه حتتغرم من الكوست بتاعهم 300 جنيه غرامه. بعدك حتاخذ نقاط في اللايسنس بتاعك، واذا وصلت 9 نقاط فقد تخسر اللايسنس وتضطر تعيد الامتحان من اول جديد. هم حيدوك 6 اذا انت سايق من غير تامين، وفي هذه اللحظه انت سايق من غير تامين لانه التامين حقك غير صالح. قد ياخذوا العربيه منك، واذا انت بتعتمد على السواقه في مصدر رزقك فقد ياثر على مصدر الرزق، وقد يؤدي الى ديستركشن في العربيه. فهو بيقول لك خلي بالكم، كل ما كان العرض مغري وكل ما كان التوفير عالي في التقدم معناها انت حتخسر اضعافه مؤخرا من انك دفعت اوليا وتتحمل التكاليف والعقوبات الماليه والقانونيه ضدك. Colin, yours.
Thank you. So how do you spot fake insurance policy? How do you avoid buying it? So I've just put those graphics there. If I pick up the phone to you and say, Mohamed, good afternoon, I'm Colin, I'm from so and so, I could sell you, insurance policy, I could save you £400. That is an absolute no-no. Because generally, if you think of it, the insurance companies don't pick up the phones to phone people. They don't have salespeople going around asking to sell insurance policies. You go online, you go to a website, you go through genuine, proper channels to buy insurance policy. But a lot of these fraudsters, they pick up the phone because they're talking with members of the community. They know them, there's that trust, and they say, yeah, I can get you a good policy and I can save you X amount of money. They do that through WhatsApp as well. Plenty of that goes on through WhatsApp messages because that's something that all of us use. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all those facilities are used to perpetrate selling fake insurance policies. So the key for me is, if you want a policy, do it properly. Go online, go to the Go Compare sites, go to moneysupermarket.com. If you want to go directly to the insurer, go on there. They have all their facilities online and contact numbers and ways in which you can get a genuine policy. So my message to you is avoid people contacting you directly, telling you they can sell you, because they disappear. They disappear after a while once they've taken your money. WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, they all vanish from those things temporarily. So do it the right way. Go online, use the aggregator websites or the Go Compare, moneysupermarket.com, and you can get your cheap policy. It might be slightly more expensive, but ultimately you're saving yourself from all the trouble. Thank you, Mohamed.
Thank you. شركات التأمين عامة ما بتتصل بالناس عشان تبيع لها الانشورنس أو التأمين. المطلوب منك انك انت تمشي وتشوف الشركات المعروفة وتتصل فيها. فإذا عندك عرض من مغري من التلفون أو الواتساب أو في الفيسبوك جاتك رسالة أو الانستغرام أو السوشيال ميديا عامة فتجنبها، لأنه كل ما كان العرض مغري العرض دي حاجة بالغش. بيفتحوا حساب لفترة مؤقتة عشان يغشوك يضلوك ياخذوا قروشك منك، وانت حتكون خسرت اوليا وخسرت متاخرا. فالنصيحة العامة تفادى اللي بيجيك وامشي واسعى انت بنفسك، وشوف الشركات المعروفة والمرموقة دعاياتها موجودة في التلفزيون زي جو كومبير او الماركت.com، شركات السكوتش ويدوز، وشوف them وابروتش them وهم بيدوك الاسعار المناسبة وبيقارنوا مع شركة التأمين عشان يساعدوك. Thank you very much, Colin.
Another way to check on people trying to defraud you or sell you fake insurance policies is to check on what I call the Financial Conduct Authority website. The link is on there. So what that does is it can tell you if somebody gives you a fake company name, if they tell you who they are, what product they do, maybe they tell you to sell insurance, they can give you an FCA number because they're meant to be registered. If you go on there and check on them, So if they tell you their FCA number is 123456, you can go in there, put that reference number, and you find that they're not actually on there. So it's a good way if you get any sort of policy, you're not sure about it, even if you have a genuine policy, you buy it from a genuine broker. There's no harm in going on to the FCA website, the Financial Conduct Authority website. You can check on that. It will give you all the information you want. And if somebody doesn't exist as a genuine broker, it would also tell you. Thank you, Mohamed.
Thank you, Colin. كولين بينصح انه نمشي للفاينانشال كوندكت اوثورتي اللي هو register.fca.org.uk وناخذ ترى من التامين هناك او البيرسون اللي متصل فينا او اسم الشركه وتطمئن عليها من الجهه المفتشه للمواضيع دي، واذا هم موجودين او شركه حقيقيه بتكون معلوماتها وبياناتها واضحه هنا، حتى التامينات اللي بتشتريها بتكون مسجله هنا، فاذا حاجتك ما مسجله في هذا الموقع معناها فيها غلط ولازم تتصل فيهم عشان يساعدوك. فاهم حاجه قبل ما تخسر او تنضم لشركه او تشتري تامين اتاكد من مصداقيته من خلال هذا الموقع. كولين.
Thank you. And the other way to do that, to check if somebody sold you a false policy or not, is to go to askme.com. Again, the link is there, your own vehicle, askme.com. So essentially what that does, if for example, if a fraudster sells you a fake policy, that policy would last for a month, 2 months, 3 months at most before the insurance company kind of picks that up. So if you're not sure and you want to find out, you can go to askme.com, put your vehicle details, and ask the question like it says, you know, am I insured? These are my vehicle details. And it will pop up and tell you, yes, you're insured, or no, you're not insured. So that's a good way to find out. One of the things that the fraudsters do, I just need to reemphasize, is that when they set up these policies for you, they normally last for maximum 3 months before the insurance company picks it up. So if you check for the first week or the first month, you will find it there because you're insured. But if you go there the following month, it might have disappeared. So if you feel or suspect that somebody sold you a false policy, my advice to you, go to askme.com and check regularly. The alternative for you is if they give you a document saying there's your insurance policy, phone the insurance company yourself and ask that question. And they will explain to you and tell you whether you're insured or not. Over to you, Mohamed.
Thank you, Colin. في الموقع ده مهم جدا askmid.com، تدخل فوقه رقم العربية والسيارة وبيديك إذا هي سيارة انشورنس وبيديك مدة الصلاحية حق الانشورنس. في الحقيقة لما هم يبيعوا لك انشورنس مزورة أو يضلوك فبتكون صالحة لمدة up to 3 شهور لحد 3 شهور، فأنت في الفترة الأولية أو ما بعدها خلي عينك على هذا الموقع ودائما يتأكد إنه عندك فعلا انشورنس وإنها صالحة. أحسن طريقة لتضمن الأمانة إنك تتصل بشركة الانشورنس دايركتلي بعد ما تشوف البوليسي على أساس إنك تتأكد من صدقيتها وصلاحيتها واستمرارها عشان ما تكون مغشوش في الموضوع ده وما تأثر مصايب لنفسك أو للمجتمع حوالينك. Colin, yours.
So you can move on to the next slide. Sorry. So the other thing I was going to tell you about, now we've spoken about people selling fake insurance policies. The next thing I'm going to tell you, which I think members of all communities and anybody who drives needs to be aware of. When I mentioned before that with the sort of cases we have, all those cases and people under investigation, what they do is they stage accidents. We call it in the insurance industry crash for cash. So what they do is they get involved in an accident to claim money from the insurance company. So they will say they've got backache, neck ache, and they claim for new vehicle, and so on and so forth. So I think this is something I need to share with, because not every accident you're involved in is a genuine accident. So it's something to be aware of. So what are the telltale signs for looking at whether an accident is staged, whether it's a fraudster trying to get out money for you? You need to be aware if a car is unusually slow in front of you, because sometimes you think, why? There's a lot of space in front. Why are they driving so slowly? So that's one of the signs to look out for. The other thing is they slow down and they brake. They slow down and they brake. They speed up and they slow down. They speed up and they slow down. And you're looking in front of you as a driver. You say, why are they doing that? There's no reason for doing that. Again, that's potentially is a red flag, you know, to tell you that some people might be targeting you. And these things tend to happen at roundabouts or near junctions. So you need to be aware of that. So those are some of the things that, again, it happens and we're not aware of. So as members of the Sudanese community and communities all across the UK, there are fraudsters out there who stage accidents to claim money from insurance companies. And some of those are the telltale signs. Over to you, Mohamed.
Thank you very much, Colin. الجهة الثانية اللي كولين عايز يتطرق لها هو تمثيل الحوادث، ودي حاجة بتحصل وهم السبب منها إنه يدخلوك في حادث عشان ياخذوا قروش من الانشورنس أو من التأمين بتاعك أو تضطر تشتري عربية جديدة. فأهم حاجة عشان تخلي بالك من الحاجات دي اللي هو في الراوند اباوت أو الدورانيات أو الصواني، تخلي بالك. وبعد ذاك في تقاطع الطرق الطريقة اللي بيستعملوها إنه بيسرعوا ويبطوا في السرعة، يسرعوا ويبطوا في السرعة على أساس إنك أنت يشوشوك وتضطر تدخل في حادث معاهم. أو مرات قد يسرعوا ويضغطوا على الفرامل، يسرعوا ويوقفوا، يسرعوا ويوقفوا عشان يضطروك إنك تدخل في حادث معاهم. وإذا دخلت في حادث حيستفزوك أو ياخذوا منك الأموال أو يضطروك إنك تشتري عربية جديدة وأشياء كثيرة وترفع ثمن الانشورنس بتاعك. Colin, over to yours.
Thank you. So a couple of other telltale signs that, again, these are really important to be aware of. When they stage these accidents, they know what they're doing. The gangs of people all over the country, all over London or Manchester, wherever they may be, and they do this thing to make money out of insurance companies. So when they stage the accident, the first thing they do is they come down and they're ever so calm and they're so relaxed because they know what they're doing. They've been doing it for quite a while. I've been involved in accidents a number of times. And when I have an accident, I won't say petrified, but I'm a bit shaking. And you come out and you think, oh, you have to get your insurance company, you have to look at the damage and things like that. So I think we're a bit flustered when we have accidents. But these people, they know what they're doing. They come down and they are very relaxed and calm. So again, that's something that you need to be aware of. If someone is really relaxed and calm, you know, maybe it might set alarm bells ringing. The other thing they do is when I've been involved in accidents in the past, I really don't have my insurance details in the car sometimes. No, I don't think a lot of us do. So they, oh God, who am I insured with? You go online, you might remember your insurance company, try and find a phone number or something, and then you can exchange details. But these people, when they come out, they already have their insurance details written down to exchange that information. And again, that should ring alarm bells because not a lot of people go around with their insurance details written down, waiting for an accident to happen. So that's something to look out for. And sometimes when they come out, they might hold their neck or their back, or they might walk, you know, like their leg has been damaged. And you think, yo, but I just hit the car from behind very slightly. So how can you have that sort of neck damage, or how is your leg hurt? So again, it's a way of getting money out of the insurance companies for injuries. So again, it's something that you need to look out for. So those are some of the other telltale signs. Like I said, it happens at junctions, busy junctions, sometimes in the night, in the evenings. So if you're driving around, just be careful. And these are things that you need to be aware of.
Thank you, Colin. النصيحة إنه لازم تتوخى الحذر في كل اللي أنت بتعمله، خصوصا في السواقة في الليل أو في التقاطعات أو في الراوند ابات، لأنه هم بيعرفوا هم بيعملوا في شنو. فعادة الناس لما تكون داخلة في حوادث بتكون عندها توتر أو خوف أو رهبة من الحادث، لكن هم بيكون عندهم برود حق أعصاب وبينهم بيكونوا متماكين وفاهمين هم بيعملوا في شنو. فدي واحدة من الانديكيتورز أو الحاجات اللي أنت تحط عينك عليها وتكون واعي بها. ثاني حاجة، معلومات الانشورنس بتكون مكتوبة وجاهزة عندهم ومستعدين يستعملوها على طول، في حين إنه معظم الناس لما تدخل في صدمة ما بتكون عارفة الشركة اللي هي أساساً عاملة انشورنس معاها شنو، أو بتكون مخضوضة أو خايفة من الحادثة حصل دي، فما بيكون عندها الانفورميشن ريدي. وثالث حاجة هم بيستعملوها إنه بيدعوا مما نزول من السيارة إنه عندهم اكسيدنت في الرقبه او عندهم علل صحيه، عشان شنو؟ يستهلكوك ويستضعفوك وياخذوا القروش من شركه الانشورنس حقتك. فهم عارفين بيعملوا في شنو، فانت خلي بالك من الانديكيتورز او المؤشرات اللي كولين قال لنا عشان نكون دائما عارفين حاصل شنو. Over to you, Colin.
Thank you. So just finally, a couple of do's and don'ts for me in terms of the crash for cash or stage accidents. The key piece of advice I need to give you is when people like that are involved in an accident, they come down and say, oh, we don't need to contact our insurance companies, just give me 600 quid and that's it. You know, never agree to pay someone at the roadside when you've been involved in an accident. Do it properly, go to the insurance companies and make sure that is done, you know, the right way. Never pay somebody at the roadside or agree to pay anybody at the roadside after an accident. Get as much information as you can. One of the things they do is when they're involved in an accident, there might be only one person there, but when they put a claim to the insurance company, they will claim there were 3 other people in the accident, including children, and they're all claiming for whiplash and other sort of injuries. So get as much information as you can about the vehicle registration, how many people were in the car, and so on and so forth. Take photographs if possible, because it's always important. You can use that as evidence. You can use that to support your case with your insurance company because they want to know who was liable. And more importantly, if you feel threatened, because some of these people get up very aggressive, just move away, get into your car, lock your door, and call the police if you need to. So don't get involved in any sort of, you know, altercation or physical, because you don't know how desperate they are. They don't really care about anything. So just get into your car and move away if you need to. And the other piece of advice, which seems quite, a lot of us don't really consider it, is buying a dash cam. Dash cams are, you could get them for under £30 these days. And I can tell you the amount of cases and crash for cash cases that we've resolved through dash cams and fraudulent accidents that we've resolved through dash cams. They're quite a lot. So a dash cam is a good way. It's evidence. You can give that to insurance company to say, there you go, that's what happened. And they can use that as evidence. So buying a dash cam is a good thing. So those are some of the brief do's and don'ts in terms of stage accidents that you people need to be aware of. So thank you.
Thank you, Colin. من أهم الدلائل اللي هم بيحاولوا يخدعوك فيها عند حصول الحادث، هم بيطلبوا منك قروش على طول أو بيطلبوا منك إنك تدفع المال. النصيحة الأولية لا تدفع، ودائما تحاججوا في شركة الانشورنس، وإن زادت عليك الغرامة لكن بتكون في الضمان وفي الأمان. أخذ المعلومات كامة والمعلومات كافة. هم حيحاولوا يدعوا ويكذبوا لما تجي لطلب التأمين، حيزيدوا عدد الناس، حيزيدوا عدد الإصابات أو الحاجات الأخرى المشتبه فيها. فدائما إذا في طريقة حاول أن تصور، عندك التلفون صور كل حاجة، أخذ الانفورميشن كم عدد الناس، كم في العربية، ماذا حدث، من منطلق كل حاجة. النصيحة العامة إنه إذا حسيت بخطر اتصل بالبوليس. البوليس هو أحسن حماية ليك، لأنه هم حيحاولوا يستفزوك عشان القروش ما عشان التأمين أو أي حاجة تانية. وأهم حاجة كولين بينصح فيها إنه بتكلفة 30 جنيه أو حاجة مقاربة لها ممكن تشتري كام داش إن كار داش كام أو الكاميرا العربية اللي هو بتركبها بتصور الصدمة لو حصلت. وهم في حالتهم لما راحوا للمحاكم في أكثر من مرة التصوير الجاء من الإن كار داش كام اعتبروه كدليل مهم جدا في القضية، وحل قضايا كثيرة ووفر على ناس مصايب كثيرة كانت حتحصل لهم. تفضل Colin, sorry, go ahead.
And finally from me, I'm sure a lot of you wouldn't have heard of some of the stuff I've spoken about today. So hopefully you would have learned, you know, a few things about people selling fake insurance policies and also people staging, you know, accidents to get money from insurance companies. But the question is, how do you report insurance fraud? You can. So if you have any suspicions, there's a number, cheat line, which is run by the Insurance Fraud Bureau, which we call IFB. You can report fraud on there. They also have an online facility, so you can click online. So if you have any sort of suspicions about stage accidents in any area or somebody within your community selling fake insurance policies, you can go to that cheap line and give your details. It's easy to use. It's confidential, so you didn't need to leave your name, address, phone number. You can do it completely anonymously. And the most important thing is that when you report such insurance fraud, it protects every one of us. It protects you, protects me, protects members of your community, your brothers, your sisters, your dads, your moms, your relatives, uncles. It protects the whole members of the community from being targeted by insurance fraudsters who would do anything. And it's even more challenging in this COVID period where people have been affected, incomes, and people don't have jobs. You know, we've definitely seen a rise in insurance scams. And we will see a rise in ghost brokers, people selling fake policies, and we will see a rise in crash for cash. So the staged accidents. So like I said, report it through those channels.
Thank you, Colin. آخر حاجة بيقولها الدال على الخير كفاعله، يعني بخلاصة الموضوع. ففي طرق كثيرة إنك تبلغ عن الحاجات اللي بتحصل سواء من التمثيل الحوادث أو بيع التأمين الخاطئ. فأول حاجة عندك تمشي الويب سايت حقتهم اللي هو IFED أو التلفون الموجود هنا الشات لاين حقهم عشان تدل على الناس، لأنه الناس دي خصوصا في عهد الكوفيد وتدهور الأحوال المادية والاقتصادية في البلد بتؤدي للناس إنه يتطرقوا إلى الطرق الإجرامية دي والمضلة بالناس. فعشان تحمي نفسك وتحمي مجتمعك حاول إنك دائما تبلغ عن أي حاجة بتحصل عشان الناس تكون عارفة وتحمي نفسك تحمي مجتمعك. Back to you, Colin.
Thank you. So if there are any questions, I can take them at the end or we can take them now. Depends on, obviously, I know we'll be short of time. So Mr. Allam, what do you want to do?
Yes, thank you very much, Colin. And thank you very much, Mohamed. Thank you very much, both of you. Very exciting. Shall I just maybe ask a couple of questions quickly?
Yes.
I will say it in Arabic so people can follow up, and then I will say it to you in English. Mohamed, so I can give you some few minutes to rest now. واحد من الأسئلة بيقول لك إنه يعني مشاكل الانشورنس جزء من إنه الناس قد تقع فريسة لهذه النصب والاحتيال لأنه أسعار زايدة بطريقة خرافية، وبعدين الواحد لو أعطى معظم المعلومات حقته الحقيقية هو له سنة له سنتين في العنوان ما تغير، أول مرة يسوق ما بعرف شنو، بيتعرض لأسعار خيالية بيقول لك بتكون بالآلاف يعني. فدي بيقول لك ممكن دي يكون سبب انه المفروض تنظروا فيه بيوقع، خاصه انت قال لك شركتك انك انت قالوا يعني انت قلت فندد بالانشورنس كمباني، ممكن تعمل ستوب شير اي انه بيتاثر عليهم. The question, Colin, many people said to you, have you ever considered this reason, which I think they said is many big reason, insurance companies are charging quite a lot, and particularly if you tell them the truth, particularly for immigrants, people just arrive in the country. They have, you know, the factors which contribute to high insurance. You are new, you haven't driven quite a lot. Some of them, they are driving on international insurance and so on. They said some of them, they receive thousands of quotations. So they will give you the quotation of maybe something like a couple of thousands, which you definitely cannot afford. So they said, given that you are being, like you said earlier, funded by the insurance privately, have you ever thought about also looking at this issue in order to minimize people being victim to those frauders?
Well, again, that's something that I really can't answer, if I'm being honest, because the insurance policies have what the insurance companies have, what they do and how they charge. And I think most of them these days are looking at ways to get customers. So they look for, you know, if I mention the dash cam, for example, if you have a dash cam, that could reduce your policy. Sometimes they have what you call it's a device that you can put in the car that monitors how you drive, you know, how often you drive and what time of the night you drive and things like that. So there are specialist insurance companies out there that are designed to there's competition. They're designed to provide policies that are cheaper than others. So, but it's a matter of finding them when you go online. So, but I really can't, I'm just looking at it from the perspective of crime prevention and insurance fraud. So on the commercial side and how it works, I really can't answer that, I'm afraid. But my advice to people is just do your due diligence, look out, try and find. So for example, there are policies that are targeted for young drivers to make their policies cheaper. You know, I know of that. So, but you need to meet certain conditions. Maybe you will have to install something in your car, like a dash cam or something that monitors how you drive and when you drive. So just do a bit of research. That's all I can advise.
Okay.
Thank you very much. شكرا يا كولين. كولين بأول حاجة هو في محاربة المواضيع دي هو ما من الناحية التجارية، فما بيقدر يعمل تعليق على التكاليف شركات التأمين عامة، لكن هو بينصح بأول حاجة إنك تعمل البحث مكثف، تقارن الشركات مع بعضها. بعد ذلك في شركات متخصصة للناس المبتدئين في السواقة والناس المتخصصين في السواقة أو على مجال شغلك في السواقة، فأنت شوف الشركات المتخصصة في مجالك. ثاني بينصح إنه شركات التأمين بتقلل التكلفة حقتها جذريا إذا أنت استعملت الحاجات اللي بتحافظ زي مراقبة السواقة وأوقات السواقة، ودي جهاز هم بيركبوه معاك تمونيتر طريقة سواقتك. وعندهم الداش كام دي اللي هي بتصورك وانت بتسوق، بتحفظها في SD درايفز، اذا ما في حاجه حصلت امسحها جددها وركبها مره ثانيه، بحيث انك دائما يكون عندك دليل على سواقتك وعلى حسن سواقتك، لانه كل ما اثبتت مهارتك كل ما السعر قل معاك. لكن في الاول النصيحه الاوليه من ناحيه تجاريه انك لازم تعمل البحث، وهو زي ما قال الديو ديليجنس حقك، البحث في طرق مختلفه ومقارنه بالاسعار عشان تقلل التكلفه لنفسك.
طيب يا أحمد، في سؤال من الزوم، هل في سؤال من جوا الزوم قبل ما نفتح سؤال ثاني من الفيسبوك؟ بس عشان الزمن ما يعني القصد من الندوه دي انه توعيه وتنويريه، و I believe Colin will be willing to come to other community gathering. Is there any, before I ask the other question from the community, anyone from the Zoom, Nusayba, Abdul Salam, Mohamed, anyone would like to ask a question? Because we taking question from the Zoom, one from the Facebook. Any question? Nusayba, عندك أي question لكولين?
No, I have no questions right now.
تمام.
It seems to me he's just covering all the points right now.
تمام. Any other question? اوكي كولين، في سؤال اقوله بالعربي وبعدين كولين يسيد انجلش. السؤال بيقول لك يعني انت في ناس شويه تحسسوا من مساله انه السودانيين نحن ما كلنا، طبعا دي حقيقه ما كل السودانيين محتالين ولا بنحتال على زول، لكن اللي احنا حكينا قبل السبب بتاع انه ودى كولين السفاره ويتكلم مع السفاره وكده. في سؤال بعد شويه راح اقوله لسعاده المستشار، برضه في سؤال، لكن السؤال يا كولين بيقولوا له انه هل انت قلت في كيسز كثيره في 460 قلت ناس مجتمع فيهم حاليا بيتحققوا معاهم، يعني غير الجاليه السودانيه او غير السودانيين اللي نسبتهم قلت بسيطه او نسبتهم معاك دي، يعني من غير ما تذكر لنا ارقام حقيقيه، يعني من الجاليات الثانيه اللي فيها برضه حالات منه عشان بس الناس ما تتحسس بانه نحن برانا متهمين وكده. Colin, the question they said they said people appreciate you went to the embassy and they said to you the Sudanese people are great people, they are law abiding, which I'm sure you know, we are not all frauders or anything, but they said to you, if without disclosing much of information, what other communities you came across, because they think you can understand people, sometimes people they sensitive, but everyone knows not every community is bad. I mean, there's many. So
I appreciate that. And I said at the beginning of my presentation, if you recall, that we're seeing this across all communities in the UK. So we see it in the Asian communities, we see it in the Polish, we see it in Romanian, East European communities, we've seen it in Brazilian and Portuguese, because the Brazilian Portuguese community, South America, a lot of what they do, they work in with the delivery route, the Ubers and so people are targeted in that way. So I'm Nigerian, for example, so I'm quite aware of what the issues are, around different communities. So the reason I came to approach the embassy wasn't to point fingers at anybody. It wasn't to say this community is fraudulent or anything. It's just to raise the awareness, to stop people from taking advantage of members of the community, because in every community you get one or two people, who are kind of bad apples. Not everybody is perfect, So no, by all means, we see this across various communities, a lot of the cases we have. Like I said, we've seen Polish, we've seen Romanian, we've seen Asian, we've seen Brazilian, we've seen Portuguese, a wide array. So it's not just, and if I'm being honest, it was the first time we came across a case involving the Sudanese community, which was even made it more important for me to raise it, so it doesn't spread beyond that, yeah.
Thank you very much, Colin. كولين بيقول إنه الموضوع ده عامة على كل الجاليات، بجاليات شرق أوروبا، الجاليات البرتغالية والإسبانية، الجاليات البرازيلية، كلهم كانوا معرضين وكلهم جزء من الإحصائيات اللي هو قدمها لنا، وهو في نفسه أساسا من الجالية النيجيرية في إنجلترا، فهو بيعرف الأسباب الكثيرة. ولما هو جاء للسفارة السودانية ما كان القصد منها إنه يشوه بسمعة الجالية السودانية، بالعكس هو كان عايز الجالية السودانية تتعلم وتستفيد مما حصل. وهو على حسب علمه في ال9 سنين اشتغل في IFED دي ما في غير بلاغ واحد من ناحية الجالية السودانية جاء، عشان كده هو حب يتصل بالسفارة عشان باقي الناس في الجالية تكون متنورة أو عارفة بالحاجات الحاصلة دي، لأنه الوقاية خير علاج، أحسن مما الناس كلها تقع في الموضوع. Thank you very much, Colin. I think Walid Umar had a question, Dr. Allam.
Yeah, okay. Walid, go ahead. You can unmute yourself يا Walid. دكتور وليد عمارة right ولا عمارة وليد صح؟ اتفضل يا دكتور.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Just a question in English and then it's up to you to translate or not.
You can say English and do Arabic. You're heart of Egyptian. Go ahead.
It's about the awareness you have mentioned here. It's about, I haven't seen the police is just spreading this awareness around. And what's important here to show the people examples, what will be the consequence if they have done that, what will be the consequence to do that. So in this case, they will give some, because what make it more spreading is a bad example is showing how much gain they would get. And as a result of that, this would lead to spreading more. And then when you prosecute one or when there is a case, no one is aware of it. So in this case, what I'm thinking about the police, why not you are spreading this awareness around in different cities. Thanks for the Sudanese community here to give this opportunity for that. But from the police side or from your the agency you are presenting today, why not doing a little bit more for further announcement around on the bus, on the streets, on this case. السؤال اللي بسأله للأستاذ كولين خاص بدور البوليس في التوعية. والمشكلة الرئيسية هنا عندنا إن عند وجود مثال سيء، والمثال السيء يعود بمكسب مئات أو آلاف الجنيهات حتى، فإن هذا المثال هو مثال وحيد ولكنه سريع الانتشار لأنه له القدرة على التوصيل المعلومة الخاطئة ولكن معلومة مربحة. أما الأمثلة الكثيرة التي يتم القبض عليها أو يتم الخسائر الناتجة عن هذا الكذب أو التزوير لا نعلم عنها شيء إلا طبعا مع الفضل للجالية السودانية والإخوة الأعزاء هنا إن إحنا في ندوة زي دي. فهنا السؤال لكولين، إيه دور البوليس وإيه دور الإيجنسيز أو الجهات المختلفة في التوعية؟ زي ما إحنا بنرى ملصقات على الأتوبيسات، ملصقات في الشوارع محطات الأتوبيس، ليه ده ما يكونش يعني وسيلة أو يورينا اللي عمل أخطأ ايه النتيجه، نتيجه خطأه، بدل ما احنا مش عارفين والمثال السيء هو اللي بينتشر. And thank you. شكرا.
Okay, Colin.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good question. One of the things we do, again, this is, if I'm being honest, this is the first time, and I'm really grateful that we've had this sort of real community engagement in terms of spreading the message. So in the past, when we've seen it with East European communities, what we've done is we've produced a leaflet about the problem, and we've shared it with the embassy, and we've put it in trade magazines or newsletters or whatever forum we feel is being made available to us to share that message. So depending on the community and depending on how engaged they are with us, that makes our life a lot easier. And if I'm being honest, sometimes it's not that easy to try and find a way into those communities to try and get the message across. But I rest assured that whenever we find cases, one of the first things we do is that prevent agenda, that awareness agenda. So we always look for means. So it might be a local newspaper, it might be the like we've done it through you people. And so yes, we always try and find a way in which we can get that message across. And yes, can we do more? I believe we can. but it takes a lot of hard work, and sometimes it takes two to tango, if for want of a better word. So we need help from members of the community. So that's why I say I'm really grateful for the Sudanese embassy and Mr. Khalid from the embassy and everybody that's done this today, because it's really, really good for us. And maybe we can use this as a kind of prototype for other communities to say, this is what we've done, let's do this going forward, because I think this is the best way to spread that awareness message.
Thank you, Colin. Colin بيقول إنه هم بيحاولوا وبيعملوا الجهود إنه ينشروا المعلومات، وهو شاكر لسعادة بالنيابة عن السفير خالد والمنصة السودان للمعرفة هنا دكتور علام على إنه أول مرة الجالية تتصل فيهم، وده هو المطلوب منهم، لأنه هم بيحاولوا بقدر الإمكان ينشروا المعلومات، وهم already مشوا في مجلات حقت السيارات أو في طرق مختلفة إنه يعملوا دعاية للبيع الصحية، لكن الانجيجمنت مع الكوميونتي لازم يطلع من خلال الكوميونتي كمان، فهو حاجة مشتركة ما بين الجاليات وما بين هم البوليس يحموا الناس، ولازم تكون في علاقة متبادلة بيناتهم، وهو أول مرة ياخذ أو جهته تاخذ اكسبوجر بالطريقة دي أو تنوير أو معرفة من خلال منصة زي كده. هو بيتمنى إنه باقي الجاليات تتبع هذه المنصة عشان يكون التوعية عامة والناس تتعلم منها. Thank you very much, Colin.
طيب في أي سؤال آخر ولا عشان الزمن في أي any other question?
There's a question on Zoom here. The problem is that many of those people don't have any knowledge about the insurance companies.
Yes, very good question.
الناس هنا ما بتعرف عن شركات التأمين، خصوصا الناس الجاية في الجاليات الجديدة وما عارفة العلم بالشركة. Colin, do you want to take the answer on this about lack of knowledge about insurance companies for newcomers or some...
Again,
yeah.
I can speak based on the little knowledge I have of insurance companies. So what I'm trying to do is try to not delve too much into the commercial side. But like I said in my earlier conversation, is when I get my insurance policies, for example, I always use Money Supermarket. I go compare. So you've got a lot of insurance, companies, and they give you various quotes, and you can do so if you say if you go online and say do Google, say insurance policies for over 50s, you will get a list of companies that will come up that provide specialist companies. If you say insurance companies for young people, it will come up insurance. So you can just a matter of thanks to Google, you can do any sort of research and go on there to try and find. And the other thing is, if you're not sure, when you go onto the insurance company websites, there's a lot of information there as well, about how to take out a policy, what you require, and so on and so forth. So again, it's all about doing a bit of due diligence and some research to try and find what's good for you.
Will Citizen Advice Bureau help in this?
Yes, they can. They can point you in the right direction as well. And
okay.
Again, if different communities, maybe if we talk about now that we brought this to light, it's okay. Maybe leaders in the community can put that as one of the things when people come, how do you get insured? Because we're not only talking about motor insurance, there's life insurance, there's home insurance, there's different types of insurance as well that people need.
Thank you very much, Colin. أول حاجة كولين قال إنه الشركات دي موجودة في جوجل وكلها عاملة دعايات. في شركات عامة زي جو كومبير أو ماركت سوبر ماركت insurance.com بنشوف دعاياتها دائما، فهو ممكن تعمل هناك من ناحيتهم إنه تقارن ما بين شركات التأمين عشان تعرف أني أحسن واحدة أو تتنور فيها. ثاني حاجة إذا سألت جوجل عامة عن التأمين لسيارتك، لحياتك، لمؤتمناتك، لمنزلك، لفوق 50، لنيو درايفر أو سائق جديد، لومن، لمان، هو ديسيبل، معاقين، هم عندهم أو جوجل بيديك المعلومات الكافية والوافية تقدر تستفيد منها. فعشان كده هو دائما بينصح إنه الناس تستفيد من الموضوعات دي وتستفيد من جوجل وتبحث وتعمل البحث الوافي والكافي عشان تستفيد من المعلومة. أنا سألته في النص عن حاجة اسمها Citizen Advice Bureau. اللي هو منظمة خيرية بتديرها الحكومة البريطانية عشان تساعد من الجهات القانونية، وهو قال إنها جهة كويسة إنك تمشي وتسألهم عن الناس اللي بيبيعوا لك شركات التأمين أو شركة التأمين عامة عشان يساعدوك في الموضوع. وآخر حاجة كولين بينصح بها إنه رؤساء الجاليات في المحليات سواء في المدن أو من ناحية السفارات إنه يوعوا المندوبينهم أو يوعوا سكانهم في الدولة البريطانية عن التأمين والإنشورنس، لأنه التأمين بيغطي حاجات كثيرة ما هي السواقة بس، لكن بيمشي للممتلكات وللبيوت لأشياء أخرى. فهو بيطالب أو بيناشد الجهات المهتمة أو رئاسة الجاليات إنه يتحدثوا مع الناس عشان ينوروهم ما هي شركات التأمين وطرق التأمين وكيف الحماية منها. شكرا.
طيب شكرا جزيلا يا بروفيسور محمد، يعني كالعاده انت رجل مشارك في الكوميونيتيز دي، وشكرا لك يعني حقيقه الناس فيها ذاتها كويس. كولين thank you very much. I can't thank you enough. Was very useful.
بنحلم بفضاء أوسع، بنحلم بزمن أجمل، بلاد ميلاد، بلاد ميلاد. بنحلم بفضاء أوسع، بنحلم بزمن أجمل، بلاد ميلاد، بلاد ممتد لحد حدود